Hi there. I just want to remind you, I can't hear you. You're still muted. Okay, thank you.
Hey, Elisa? Elisa, you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
It looks like we're missing a resolution that was passed out of public safety.
Yeah, last page.
Which one is that?
Oh, maybe not. Never mind. We got it.
Is it for handicap parking?
I'm sorry. I take it back.
We're good.
Down? Okay.
I don't know. Yes, we are. These are two.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Nice to see everyone. Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. This is our county council caucus meeting. It is 7:03. We're going to call the meeting to order. All council persons are here except for Councilman Tony Davis, who's excused tonight. And we can go ahead and get started. Everybody have a list, legislation list? So looking over this, it looked like the majority of these resolutions are from the finance committee meeting. So in our practice, remember the committee report came out of whatever committee meeting it came out of is going to have the floor. So it looks like you have it, Alderman Scott Caucus.
All right.
Now, can they hear us okay?
Is it okay if you and I switch seats? That way you're back.
Sorry, just also in attendance is Corporation Counsel, Assistant Corporation Counsel. Sorry.
So the first item, transfer parks and recreation, 33,700, and zero financial impact from the parks and rec department. That's to square up the books, so it's just an internal internal transfers within that department. Is there anything with that? The next one is about buying chemicals for the wastewater treatment plant. And that also is going to be taken care of with internal transfer and wastewater treatment for materials and supplies over there. The third item, $140,950 in public works to cover certain shortfalls. This one is, let's see, so this first one, $240,000, we're taking from contingency. So it's $140,000 from contingency. A significant portion of that has to do with energy costs. So, as you all know, we've seen the costs of electricity and of fossil fuels rise. So, $127,000 of this is for those costs. Those were not foreseen in the budget. The second one is also to cover shortfalls in accounts. This is an internal transfer of $39,869. And that's an internal transfer, so there's no financial impact because of that one. It's nice.
We were just told to report to here. So if you could speak up and. That will cost you back. This room is just harder than competent. That everybody, when they speak, if you could just speak loud.
So we are 223.
That's amount?
Say E.
No. All right. So the last one from from Public Works is $14,000. This one's in the sewer account, and this is also to cover greater expense of fuel than was projected. And so, despite it being $14,000, it's going to be zero impact to the budget because it will be moved around from within their budget. Oh, thank you. 224. This is costs for the Rondell Lighthouse, requesting bonding authorization of $750,000 for the design and so forth. We had the Common Council authorize this project. This is following on from damage to the White House from the 2012.
Lighthouse or the White House?
Lighthouse. We're not responsible for the White House unless they move it here. So 2012 Superstorm Sandy. This resolution is expected to project a cost of $401,000 with 90% reimbursed by FEMA and the remaining 10% be reimbursed by New York State DHSES. So although the spending in the first instance was approved by this resolution, no bonding was approved in 2019. So that's what this is to do. The request is to increase the total project cost, $711,000, provide bonding for the spending in the first instance while awaiting reimbursements, and provide bonding for the expected city share of project costs, which may not be reimbursable under the recovery funding. All right, so everybody clear on that?
Can you give me a sense of what the cost to the city is going to net out to?
No, because, well, $400,000 of it looks like it will be reimbursed at least. That's expected. And then there's other possibilities that we're hoping will come through. There's also a 10% reimbursement from New York State DHSES. At some point, not clear whether that's on the total amount or on the remaining 300 and something thousand dollars. All right, so there will definitely be some costs to the city, but the exact amount remains to be figured out. All right, any questions on that?
So we are approving this even though we don't know what the other is.
Right, that's often the case with bonds. And it's also because we had, this is also following up on, what is it here?
That we got
Resolution
already.
21 of 2019.
We just forgot to bond for it. Is that correct?
Not that we forgot, it's just that, you know, there were continuing issues about getting it done. And so now that we've got the plans for it and those things have come through, we're now ready to actually spend the money. The next one is, well, the bond resolution, of course. 226, this is a usual practice here of adding a list of charges levied against city tax property owners for fees and so forth from Public Works. And item 229.
Skip a couple here.
So weird.
227 is the building safety.
That's not what it says here. 225, 226, is Public Works. Where's 2?
27 is building
I may have printed, may have chopped off. Sorry about that, man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Right, 227.
That's your meeting.
Oh, this is the same thing in building safety. So it's just taking charges levied against folks and adding them to the tax bill so that they'll pay them through their taxes. 228. I'm fine with that.
228 was just amending a prior resolution wherein council decided that a housing vacancy would be done every 3 years. This had to do with the vacancy rate. TPA.
for
I just want to make sure it's listed there as a pending prior resolution, but I think the wording is a little bit different since it did have to amend. So it's not.
Okay, so I added amended, and it's not on here. I only said amended because that's what we said in our committee meeting. So we didn't have to amend it.
No, I know that was a discussion. It's not that we can say declaration, but the common council is adopting approach number 1.
Okay.
the committee report may have said amended.
The committee report did say
The
amended.
resolution itself is okay. You,
The resolution, I mean, you have a copy of it in the materials.
I don't have
The committee report said amending resolution, whatever number it was, to add the requirement of doing a vacancy study every 3 years.
I mean, is there a reason why, rather than just the way the committee reported it out? Specific reason why the council wanted to?
I think that's what we thought we had to do.
This is just making sure that no matter what the declaration statements, it is no matter what happens, the will of the council.
Right.
Is it a problem that it says about that?
This is a committee's report. I mean, the substance is exactly what we wanted.
Right, so it's,
Yeah, when the resolution is read, the word amended.
Yeah. Resolution 144, just as resolution of the common council of the city of Kingston, we are declaring a housing emergency regulation for its pursuant to the TPA.
not for the fine.
All right. Resolution 229. Back to finance.
Yeah.
Resolution 229 is to approve the city's 2022 general fund budget as amended. The amendments are below. We'll go through those in a minute. With total expenditures of $50,156,158. I'll note that the changes that we suggested, all of those are, none of those are coming from the general fund per se. We're going to be pulling that money from the fund balance. So it doesn't alter any of the tax rates, any of the reduction in taxes to residents, or the tax levy as stated in the proposed budget from the mayor, the original. Is that clear? Everybody get that? All right. Then among those things that we agreed to add are the following. One, this one actually is in the budget, but it doesn't have any real effect because it's adding $20,000 to the Parks and Recreation budget, but that's because of a grant received from New York State. So the effect of that one is zero on the final budget. Resolution 231 is a budget change in the amount of $7,000. This is to provide funding in the communications department for one citywide mailing, which is not specifically noted yet, but we've seen that the department there under Silver Smith has had a couple of instances where they needed to send out a communication with fairly quick notice through the mails to all city residents, all households in the city. So we added money for that. And we also added a little extra money so that the Department of Communications could increase the use of translation services. This is becoming an increasingly important issue. So we have a fairly large and even growing number of native Spanish speakers. And we want to be sure that at important city meetings, we can do translation for those folks that are kept up to the date, up to the minute, informed on what's going on. Are you okay with that one? 232 is an increase, $33,000 for the police department. This was specifically to provide for overtime for an increase in traffic safety enforcement from the police department. This amounts to an average of 20 hours per week for police enforcement of traffic safety, which is about 20 hours more than what is able to be done right now. So this is important too in terms of developing looking toward reducing the speed limit to 25 because we know we're going to have do some work with motorists in the city when that comes to pass. Resolution 230. Yes.
Also, one of the reasons we're not at the meeting that we felt good about this, it would definitely be an increase in revenue. We'll be out writing tickets.
Lovely. Lovely.
Well, I would amend that with the usual practice of taking KPD is the first time that somebody is pulled over for a traffic infraction. If it's not a dangerous one, KPD gives them a warning. Often they'll give the same person 2, even 3 warnings, but they keep records of everybody they give a warning to. And so if they see that somebody has just not paid attention to the warnings, they will start issuing tickets at that point. All right. So I don't make it seem like KPD is going to go out and start shouting.
No, I don't want to get that impression. We're not looking to raise money through this, but I mean, it is naturally going to happen as they write tickets. But I think the PR going to be worth what we spend. People are very, we went through the second meeting. I get a lot of phone calls. I don't know how many. I guess some people don't. I get a lot of calls about speeding through the neighborhood, not stopping for stop signs in my ward. So at least for me, I think it's really going to go a long way with my constituency. Greater police presence. Some people have issues.
All right. Let's see, 233 is to add $538 to the budget for a common council page. This is a position that we've traditionally had in the past. We didn't have it in the last budget because of COVID. We weren't meeting in person, so we didn't need a page. This is an important small job to be undertaken at our common council meetings. We'll get to that.
So who's going to maintain the page?
That's up to the, me by who's going to hire
Tradition
them.
is usually the president who hires, but it's under the clerk. The page is just the person who comes to the council.
Here, Bill
No,
Perry's
Bill
on.
Perry's
Okay,
I'm-
I'm sorry, I was confused, I thought it was an actual page that we were putting up.
Oh, no, yeah, it was Bill Perry's son for a long time.
Yep,
What does
I
the
remember
page
that.
do?
Well, Josina has been volunteering.
I think it's
So-
spelled wrong.
It's spelled wrong,
Spelled
that's why,
wrong,
yeah.
That's why,
Is it?
yeah.
Okay.
PAI, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's the first name. I think it is.
I think it is PhD.
Yeah, yeah.
So they attend the council meetings and will
Oh, I know the
handle,
person.
yeah.
I
So
thought
it's
it was like
usually,
caucus meetings and committee meetings.
no, it's usually a young person. It's good for them. They get to put it on their resume and, obviously they're making pennies. So it's not about the money. It's more about for them the experience and for us, any little thing we need, like if the clerk needs somebody to fetch something, people need water, which actually reminds me our water bucket is empty, something.
All right. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay. 234 is approval of capital projects totaling $3,535,000, offering and authorizing the city's capital plan as per attached. So that's all the various things the different departments asked for. Mostly a series of vehicles. There's also money in that capital plan for solar panels on a handful of city buildings. If you weren't at the meeting, those buildings were chosen because they already have the structural integrity for having solar panels. It's certainly not all the city buildings at this point that would have them. So for example, the building that used to be the tourism office, the bottom Broadway, not ready for solar panels.
Much else.
Uh,
Or much else.
Or much else, yeah, it doesn't have a ceiling, a roof, so not good position. But anyway, does anybody have any questions about any of the items that are on the capital plan? We've got things from Parks and Rec, DPW, APB.
Do you want to explain about the speeding signs too?
We also added some money in there to purchase 10 traffic meters, traffic speed signs, the ones that give you automatic feedback. We didn't put in a specific amount because we put in a place marker basically, so that between engineering, DPW, and APD, they can determine whether or not to put up permanent ones in certain places, by 10 mobile ones that we can move around as we hear about different hotspots, or a combination of the two. So we might have some permanent, some mobile, but that's hopefully, and then again, that's another thing as we look toward the possibility of reducing the speed limit to 25. These will be an important aspect of both education and enforcement, and actually a little bit of engineering also. Even if we don't reduce the speed limit, as Steve said, we have a number of places around town where we know that speeding occurs. And we're going to take with these the benefit of the doubt that a lot of these folks don't realize that they're going too fast. So in Ward 3, for example, Pearl Street is very straight and pretty steep. And so even if you don't put your foot on the accelerator at the top of the hill, you're going to go above the speed limit by the time you get to the bottom of the hill, even if you don't want to, unless you actively work the brakes, right? So this is an important place. And there's also several kids who live right in that area. So this is an important place to think about putting a sign, a traffic feedback sign, temporarily. It's also one of the places of ingress into the city. So these tend to be places, I think, where we hear a lot about speeding. If people are going at a higher rate of speed, they're coming in on 32, for example. If they're going 55, they hit the city. It's hard to realize that you need to slow down. If you're not familiar with these, we've got some that were put up because of the school safety program over on Lucas Avenue. And if you travel on down toward High Falls on Lucas, you'll see several of them going down. And, as we talked about at the meeting, oftentimes you don't realize you're going above the speed limit, and those signs help you recognize what you're doing. And so they've been a really important aspect of traffic safety. All right, so thank you for reminding us about that, Michelle. Okay, then resolution 235 is the bond ordinance for those items that are in the capital plan. 236 is approving the city's sewer fund budget. Again, this is part of the regular budget process. 237 is in accordance with our real property tax law of 1901 and RPTL also 1903. This has to do with the various rates that homestead and non-homestead tax parcels pay in the city. And we try to keep those in balance, and we try to, making sure that we have the right balance between them. So that means having to make an adjustment every year. And so this year we're looking at 25% adjustment. That'll allow both of those numbers to actually go down a little bit, so that taxpayers will be paying a little bit less on both scores per $1,000 of taxable property. Oh, no, 238.
That's,
That's not easy.
Yeah, this is
Public safety.
public safety is not here, but this is from Carl's board. This is
Yes, I had a constituent who is handicapped who called and asked for a handicap sign in front of their house. And it's gone through the necessary hoops and has been approved by various people and by the Public Safety Committee. And here it is, ready for passage. It's just straightforward handicap sign, somebody.
fantastic. 223, I'm sorry, 239.
239 is the sewer rate, and that's going to be $6.82 per unit. I think we all appreciate what the sewer does for us. Resolution 240 is approving the city's 2023 amount to be raised by taxes. That is a total of $17,624,961. And that includes a tax levy in the amount of $17,600,940. And that's virtually unchanged from the last 6 years. Might be a tad lower. And then resolution 241. This is similar to the other two items we looked at. It's recommending approval for adding water department charges to the 2023 property tax bills as we do annually.
And the next three are local laws. Local law 3 was the resolution.
Before you, can I ask a question about resolution 241, just for clarification, so I understand it before we go on? So I get a quarterly water bill.
Yes.
So is this in lieu of or in addition to what we're talking about?
If you have failed to pay your last 2 or 3 quarterly water bills, you would see those charges on your taxes after we pass this resolution.
Got it.
it's like the same we did with DPW and building safety added on.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
So-
is an annual thing.
And it's a remedy for non-payment.
Yes,
That's what I didn't know. Okay.
that's exactly what it is. Or it's an alternative form of payment.
Thank you. You're such a diplomat.
So local law 3 was just a resolution asking property owners to not use toxic material. And this would be only for, I'm sorry, this is only for city properties, not homeowner occupied properties. Okay. Look on number 4.
Is that a first reading?
That's second.
Second, this is,
I think all three of these are second.
Okay.
all right, so these are all second readings.
Which means we vote.
Yeah, so just for clarification on it, because I didn't like the ending words of it with exceptions and waivers. Because I know one of the big things we talked about was, the forcing of individuals, individual homeowners that, you have no choice with this. But if we did take it out, but I just want that
We want to be
clarification.
clear that it's not,
This is not
for
affecting
any-
the actual homeowners
Yeah.
themselves, it's just city-owned property.
Did you look at the actual resolution
I-
or just the legislation lists?
No, I read through
The
It doesn't-
actual resolution isn't clear?
no, it's just, I wanted to. in
well,
layman
because we
terms,
have those words in there with the exception. What are those exceptions? Right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because that makes it
Yeah.
sound like it's still got the,
With exceptions and waivers. it's just
Yeah,
kind of
what are the
vague.
exceptions?
why would the city accept itself?
You're actually looking at the,
No, just the legislation.
okay. No, Mike is looking at the resolution itself and it says the same thing as this and it doesn't explain it.
It just says local law.
Do you mind if I?
I thought that simply said, I can misremember, but I thought some of these exceptions were specific. And if I'm mind, poison ivy. Was it
That's what I think. I just want to
Yeah, that was
see if
it.
it's.
Sorry, I don't remember.
There's also some provision for the council to approve some additional works for particular types of being.
Yeah, if you want to keep going, I'll just, if you don't mind, I'll read through this.
Okay. Local law 4 of 2022. That was the amendment to Article 5, payment of delinquent taxes. Actually, Port Council brought this to us. Installment, delinquent taxes by installment. And then the section is the terms of the code of the city of Kingston. Do I have questions on that? Yes.
If someone were to miss a payment within that 24-month payment plan, do they still get until the end of the 24 months to make up that payment? Or would it go into foreclosure at that point? Are they still have?
Nothing is.
Okay.
It's either, I don't have, so it's statute. Put out those.
Since it's not sitting on an individual basis. There's a location. So, I don't know if that's the exact broader answer to this is what you're asking about is unaffected by this change. It actually just it reduces the barrier to getting into that type of stuff. But I've got it's on procedures. I think it's towards
Yeah.
It looks like there is a missing page. Presentation.
Of that specific one, of local law
Local law
3.
3.
3?
The one I was.
So I'll just step out.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to it. Okay, any other questions on local law 4? All right, and then local law 5, 2022. This was just getting the code, I guess, getting it in line, right? With what it says in our code as far as disorderly conduct is concerned.
I think that's a fair summary. It's the second reading.
Yes. Yeah. Are you okay with that one? Okay,
Yeah, clear.
sorry.
It just is much clearer. The previous one was really long and made it sound like basically any on the street.
Right, I remember we actually had a lot of questions about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest are funny.
Yeah, so while Andrea's checking on local well, three. Why don't you, finish up with about, tomorrow's special committee meeting? Everybody got that notice? 7 o'clock, right before council, common council.
Sure, we're in open session, I don't think we need to go into attorney client session, what I want to mention right now. There is a special finance committee. Tunnel settlement. I prepared a memo summarizing the issues for everyone. So after, and then I only printed out copies of the operating meeting for members of the finance committee. Happy to make more, I just want to waste a bunch of trees, so members of the finance committee, your officials on the agenda.
It might be yours.
So, if there are any questions, feel free to just, if there are any questions before the meeting, feel free to, they're all the same. If there are any questions before, feel free to reach out, but please, at this point, since it is not a finalized settlement, please don't share the memo. It doesn't have a ton of detail, but for any reason, the settlement was not approved by the council. I think Rita said that.
What's that?
This would be on for a full month.
Yeah, sorry.
Steve, this was there.
I mean, they're all the same. I just wanted to make sure I figured it out.
See what, another copy of it. So that packet was handed out.
I just wanted to.
The second packet that she handed out was for members of the finance committee. But however, if you want one, we can always get one. So, I mean, no, that's the memo.
Everyone got one.
Did you get the memo? So I'm, Barbara, if you don't mind, will you email one to me tomorrow? The, one that you gave to finance.
Just so that it's clear, that's just the second amended complaint.
Oh, is that, okay.
But
Maybe I don't.
the red text allows you to see one of the key issues that I talk about in the village memo. Because there were some items that
You
had.
know what? I can look it up. Because let's see, this got the index.
Or
If you have any questions, come early to council to go to the finance meeting, because you will have most likely have to vote on it 30 minutes later, so you won't have the time. And at least
All right, so yeah, so you guys can take this home and read it. If you have questions, just come early tomorrow. We're not gonna go over this tonight. Okay? Anything else?
I have one question, Rita.
Certainly.
Every common council, I believe, somebody stands up and presents something. Is that happening tomorrow?
yes.
Who's doing it?
Well, we're giving it to Steve and I thought we're gonna give it to Patrick and Megan Burke.
Okay.
Who are the couple that saved the family from that house fire.
Oh, great. Very good.
And if you don't,
That's good.
what was that?
Nice.
And
That
if
just
you're
happened.
not aware, Patrick does work for the city of Kingston. So,
That's great.
yeah, we talked to this. You have to.
Okay.
Are they gonna be able to come? Or we?
They are going to be here.
Awesome.
It was just as a matter of policy, it would be, or procedure would be great if we knew who was getting what in advance of it. This is the first time I've ever found out who was getting what.
If everybody wants that, I always feel like I bombard you with emails.
No, I'd much rather
If you
know.
want to know, I will bombard you with one more email a month.
Rotation.
Yeah. I actually asked because I was worried that I was supposed to do it.
Oh, yeah, so what, I mean, Michelle was the last one, so then I would go, and then you would just go 1 through 10.
Okay.
So I would do January, you would do February,
Got it.
March.
Just trying to prepare my reason.
Yeah, thanks for asking, and I will make sure you guys all know ahead of time.
I'd like to thank Andrea. I only called her on Friday, about this. So she was gracious enough to fit this in. So thank you, Andrew.
Great, that's fabulous.
Nice. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So I just, I know that Jonathan has been working very closely with the redistricting subcommittee. I don't know if anyone wants to share any thoughts in open session about that, but I want to make sure it's here to touch base with everyone. Probably have to follow up some more details about the, and even more press review schedule in January. Back before elections today about the required timeline for finalizing. So I know there's just going to be a lot more back and forth between my office and the subcommittee. But I just want to alert everyone and then also looking for after specific legal questions.
Jonathan's been great, thank you.
Best.
Yeah, and we are, the committee is meeting on Wednesday, so we have our maps.
Our first drafts. This is
First
probably going to go
drafts.
through
Yeah.
fairly significant revision still, so it's going to be very important to keep getting feedback about the process on this. So again, just like that, Black is community's interest in the city. It's key neighborhood centers is really
My question was if building maps before the public.
So, yes, so we have drafts, but again, consultants are here to help you guys discharge your duties. And so these are some recommendations based on the meeting and population data that we have. But yes, there's a meeting. Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, 16th.
Is it possible we can, I know the maps have just gone out to the subcommittee.
Yes.
Is it possible we can get it out to all? Get that link out to them? It's gonna be posted, well, the draft, or the working drafts will be posted?
Well, let's think about it because these are drafts of the subcommittee. These are some possible ideas. The consultants and outside attorneys share. Once the subcommittee looks at them, it would be appropriate then to post them, but I don't think it's on an HB standpoint. Since maybe after Wednesday.
Not specifically posting them, but even
Just emailing.
just
all
emailing
council
the link
Oh,
to them, just so they can look at them and be aware of what we're doing as a subcommittee.
Yeah, I think so.
In terms of, so there's a public hearing on the 13th, which is next Tuesday. So far as I know right now, it's in person only, unless somebody
At the library.
at the library at 6 o'clock. In order for the public to know what their present is, when do you think we could have something up on, like traditionally, how much time do we give a product to the public prior to?
I don't think there's any tradition or anything, but I think after Wednesday, when the subcommittee meets, we get it up ASAP.
The other thing that I think is another ASAP item is figuring out how the council, the subcommittee will drive this, how we get out the word perhaps more broadly, so that we can maximize public participation, something Jonathan and I were talking about today. I know we generally post information about public hearings in David Freeman. Like the subcommittee, I imagine will discuss perhaps going beyond that, and then also making sure translation assistance.
Could be good if each alderman, woman, figure out who their key people are in their ward who you believe would be constructive to be at the table as soon as possible. Because I think it's those natural networks. I'm already ready for this and getting ready to think, once the maps are ready to distribute with more widely. Ready. So if everybody can think about it. Great. And there's two sets so far, just to give you a heads up. One is not changing the changes to existing boundaries that make sense, and then there's one that's more comprehensive. We don't have one that's more compact. Okay. So I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. They're in color, and I was reading some things for color copies. And I think there may be a way for folks to get them somehow here. Or, I don't know.
We can print some extra copies here at City Hall. I don't know how we get them in Andrew's office. Janet can certainly keep extra.
Yeah, they have.
So we can put some extra copies either in Andrew's office and or keep a couple with Janet. If anybody wants to stop by and do this print out after something takes a look. The only other thing I'd say, I think it's great to keep reminding community members and have regular contact with to come to the meeting. But we also need to make sure that we publicize to people who are otherwise off of our radars. And so maybe figuring out some, especially Spanish language media, it's just so that we are casting as wide as possible.
I mostly know most of the Democrats, and I do reach out to my Republican friends and say, hey, help me out, because this is a big issue. It's going to over all of us. And yeah, candidates, comments, etc.
Get that hearing put onto the city's calendar.
I think, should we get what?
The hearing, so there's a
Oh,
hearing on the
public hearing.
13th. It's not on our city calendar.
So that's something, follow up with Lisa. Announced it on this radio show. So we put it in the newsletter.
What's the date for the second?
April 12th.
Is that on the calendar? That one's here. Correct.
Yes.
So I wonder if that was.
For 23.
And there isn't an event on Facebook either.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So you guys will work on getting that posted.
I will ask.
Yes,
people who
somewhere,
have
whoever
access
does
to
it. Okay, great.
I'm gonna, Barbara, I'll take care of that.
All right, anything else? No? All right. Into adjourn?
Oh, just related, to that, I just wanted to
Motion, let's
thank,
go back.
I want to thank Corp Council Barbara for jumping on the radio show with the mayor about redistricting, because Barbara Hill and I were asked last minute and neither of us were available. So she was able to go and do that for us.
And if you could listen to the tape, we learn a lot about Barbara as well. It was great. I'm telling you,
You can just skip forward a little
No, you
bit.
did.
I skipped forward to.
Or, and it, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
very succinct, and it's actually.
Which program?
Radio Kings and Mayor's.
Mayor's Weekly. And if you haven't watched the educational forum too, that was also helpful. If you really feel like you're completely lost in the redistricting process, definitely highly suggest you listen to that. That's on Engage Kingston. So anyway, sorry, I just wanted to throw the thanks.
It's complicated, so yeah.
It's complicated, and I think they did a good job explaining it.
Okay. Free time, Charm, okay, go ahead.
No, I'm a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. All right, we're adjourned. 7:50. Thank you, guys.
Are both the hearings
As soon as he gets.
6 o'clock?